Hi, everybody, and welcome to Week 7 of the Coach Nofri Show with head coach Mark Nofri of Sacred Heart Football as we get you ready for the final non-conference tune-up before the rest of conference play, the remainder of the 2018 season, the Pioneers at Dartmouth. But first, let's revisit this past week. A packed crowd at homecoming. Looked like it was going to be an easy victory for Penn. They go up 24-0 in the third quarter, and then you guys rip off a furious comeback, take a 3-point lead with 27 unanswered points, but Penn has the last say, and they drive down the field in the final 2 minutes for the game-winning score. Lots of swings of emotion. What are your general thoughts of this game?
Well, I'm a little disappointed by the way we started the game, and the beginning of the third quarter, we didn't play like we were capable of playing. We didn't show the emotion or the execution and communication that we had played with the first 3 games, and obviously it was a little bit disappointing as a head coach, and I think the kids were as well. But you can't sit there and look at the whole game was played that way. I mean, our kids did battle back. They scored 27 points between midway through the third quarter and in the fourth quarter, and they fought hard. Like I said, they did a great job, and I commend them for getting back in the game and taking the lead and playing as hard as they did in the second half. But if they had done that for 4 quarters, for 60 minutes, we could be sitting here today with a win, which it's disappointing, but again, I can't fault the kids for not being able to come back and not being able to battle back and take the lead, because that just showed me that they have some type of fight and they're willing to do it. Now we just got to be more consistent.
Their rush was really effective behind not only a big, but I think a very athletic offensive line. And Kerrigan Brooks, he ran for 191 yards. They put up a total rush yard net of 323. Yet you made adjustments and got 4 consecutive stops on defense. What made them effective on the run, and how did you eventually stop it?
Well, they were good up front. They had 2 or 3 running backs plus a running quarterback, and they were good. They were athletic, and up front they were big, and they were very well coached, and their scheme was good. But how did we end up stopping them for 4 consecutive series? We started communicating on defense. Our kids were playing with a little bit of emotion now, a little bit different, I guess you want to call it pep in your step. And number 3, they were executing what Coach Cook was calling. Guys were doing their job, and they were in the gap that they were supposed to be. They weren't trying to do too much. They weren't trying to make plays and do more than what's asked of them. And we got back in the game. We had 4 consecutive stops, like you had said. We had a chance to win the game at the end, and we didn't get it done.
Jordan Meacham rushed for 2 touchdowns, and Kevin Duke turned it on in the third quarter. Bounced back, jumped out there, threw that big bomb to R.J. Trimble Edwards. When you're down 24-0 and your 5th-year quarterback still has confidence, what does that do for everybody? And a guy like Jordan Meacham, a leader and a captain as well, to produce when the chips are down as they were.
Well, those are the type of kids you want to build your program with. I mean, Kevin Duke's been here for 5 years, and he's been that way since the day he's walked on campus. He's always one of our hardest workers on, off the field, in practice, watching film. He's got a competitive edge to him. He's a competitor. He hates to lose and loves to win, and the kids feed off that, and they see that. And Jordan Meacham's the same way. Didn't play as a freshman. We redshirted him. And he's had 3 great years, and this year he's just kind of coming into his own even more. Just a wonderful kid to be around, gives you maximum effort, does all the right things on and off the field. And when you got 2 kids like that playing for you, no matter what the score is and playing that hard, guys are going to look around and say, hey, listen, I better get going too, because those are 2 seniors right there. They're playing it all out and doing everything that you ask them to do, and they won't quit. And that's what you want from your team.
On defense, when you think of the term jumping the route, you think of someone in the secondary stepping in front of passing lane, but not a D, someone up front, a D lineman like Aaron Donaldson jumping the route on a pitch. What a read. How did he get through and blow up that play, which made this place explode for the go-ahead touchdown that he ran back?
Well, Aaron's one of our better defensive players. He's a great kid, high motor kid. He's the one that made the read. He did exactly what the coaches were teaching him to do, and he was fast enough to read it, get his hand out on the pitch, knock it down, and then athletic enough to chase it down, scoop it, and score it without getting touched. And it was a huge momentum swing, obviously. We took the lead on that play, and Aaron's a great football player. I wish we had him for 4 years. And he's got a high motor. He loves to play the game, and he does everything he asks him to do, and the kids feed off of him as well. And as you can see, after we scored that touchdown, we did have 3 consecutive stops after that as well. Just a good football player.
In the end, they run a 2-minute drill with no timeouts left. What were they able to do there to take that go-ahead score?
I think that, obviously when they were going 2 minute, same thing we talked about before, some of our issues why we were giving up yards and points was lack of communication. Guys not communicating, and on defense, that's half the battle. You got to all be on the same page, and you got to talk, and you got to pay attention to what's going on, and you let your guard down, or you don't say something loud enough, and somebody doesn't get the call or the check, and something like that could happen, and it did. They caught us off guard, and like I said, we got to learn from it, move on, and get better to go this week again.
Going up to Hanover, New Hampshire. One more Ivy League opponent. Dartmouth, tough place to play, and they're having an outstanding season. What's the game plan this week? What are we talking about to the guys as far as taking on the Dartmouth Big Green?
Well, we want to go up there and obviously give our best effort and play a game that we're capable of playing. I don't think the whole Cornell game or half the Penn game is who we are. Like the games that we played, if you go back and you look, Lafayette and Bucknell and Wagner in the second half of Penn, that's who we are. And if we can go up there and play the type of football that we're capable of playing, we'll have a chance to win the game in the fourth quarter. If we go up there and we don't execute, we don't communicate, we don't play with that edge, and we don't play at full speed, then, they're a good team. And if you want to be a good team or you want to be a great team, you got to beat a great team. And here's an opportunity to beat probably the best team in the Ivy League this year. Watching them on film, they're very good. And we got our work cut out for us, but hopefully the kids are up to the challenge and we go up there and get back on track this Saturday night.
Thank you, Coach. We'll be watching on ESPN Plus Saturday night from here as you're up there in Hanover.
Thank you.
Coach Nofri, as always, joining us on the weekly Coach Nofri Show. So it's Sacred Heart in Dartmouth on ESPN Plus at 6 p.m., the final non-conference tune-up as the Pioneers get ready for conference play the rest of the way after this weekend.